Welcome to the Heidi Thorne Show. I'm your host, Heidi Thorne, and in this podcast, I share my real-world self-publishing and small business experience with you. So let's get started with today's show. So in one of the author forums that I'm in on social media, there was an author who was coming close to publishing the last installment of her self-published book series. And she was a bit concerned about how to keep readers engaged after the book is done. Her concerns also stemmed from the fact that she was doing Amazon advertising and was getting not too much from it. And she also indicated that she was going to do a whole lot more books in a whole lot more series. Let's take a breath here. I was getting even a little bit exhausted just hearing her story. There are some authors who just keep writing, and publishing. It really helps channel their creative overabundance of energy. And some authors get kind of an emotional high from accomplishing so much writing. In their defense, there is a popular theory out there that your next book helps market your last book. That's true to a point, because if readers are interested in your work, they want to know what else you have done. So there is some truth to that. The danger in this mindset is that authors think that by merely self-publishing more and more books, they're not going to have to do any marketing. And what happens is they just end up with a lot of books on the market and not a lot of sales. So then they go into desperation mode. They'll spend a lot on advertising, or they'll just do some social media gurus program. And it's, so how do you kick the habit of just self-publishing too many books and not getting a lot for it? Stop writing right now. Yes, you can go back to it later, but I want you to take a breath and figure out how you're going to build those fans for your author platform that are going to buy your book. How are you going to use social media to recruit new fans for your work? And you have to switch gears. You have to think about spending your personal energy and resources on not more books, but more importantly, on building that author platform and your presence on social media. Because then when you launch your next book, you'll have fans who might be interested in buying. You have to understand your numbers and your motives for self-publishing so many books. Remember that only about 1% of your total reader fan base, also known as your author platform, will actually buy your book. So if you added up all your true followers on all your social media channels and multiply that by 1%, you'll get an idea of how many books you probably sell. And if you have a small fan base, don't be surprised if your sales are small too. It doesn't mean that you've done anything wrong or that your work is bad. You just have to be realistic about what's possible for you. There are some niches that just can't deliver a large number of sales prospects, and no matter how much you do with advertising or social media. I've had that happen to me. And if you're self-publishing a lot of books to express yourself and get it out of your system regardless of the sales, well then just keep publishing till you can't anymore. But if you're like the example author, and most authors, you're having some anxiety about the sales issue, hit the pause button and then think more about the fan base building instead of building your next book. Okay, let's talk about advertising. The author in the example was doing advertising on Amazon, which is a good thing. So I applaud her for doing that. But you have to remember that your advertising on Amazon is a last mile type of advertising. The demand for your book is not built on Amazon. It is built on social media or your blog or your YouTube channel or any place that isn't Amazon. They go to Amazon to buy your book. So the advertising you do there, you might get some random sales. That's what I've gotten out of my Amazon advertising. But if you're trying to build a fan base, Amazon is not the place to do it, because people don't go there to socialize and connect. They go there to buy. The other thing about social media is that you have to be consistent. You can't just keep jumping around from topic to topic. And I think when you're self-publishing so many books, it's easy to be jumping around all the time too. That's craziness. So set up a regular posting schedule and narrow your content to only those topics that relate to what you publish, either your genre or the subject matter of your nonfiction books. One of my author friends does an amazing job on social media. She's in the horror genre, and so she publishes a lot of information about the paranormal, pagan lifestyle, horror movies. She reviews spooky holidays and what she does around those holidays. And there's no doubt what she's all about. That's the model of how you should build your author brand. So stop publishing so many books. Take a break, take a breather, and figure out how you want to focus your energy on building fans instead of building books, because that's the only way to build sales. So I hope you found this helpful. And if you did, please rate, review, and subscribe to The Heidi Thorne Show on whatever podcast platform you like to use. I'm on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Podbean, and Amazon TuneIn Radio. If you like the YouTube videos better, that's fine. Just subscribe to my Heidi Thorne YouTube channel and turn on the notifications so that you get an alert when a new video is up. I would appreciate it if you would share the podcast or the video with your friends on social media. My self-published books are on Amazon, Audible, and Apple Books. All you have to do is search for my name, Heidi Thorne, and my author page will come up, and all the books that I have available are listed there. If you'd like to connect with me, my website is very simply HeidiThorne.com. Thank you so much for listening and for your support. I'll look forward to talking with you again in the next episode, and in the meantime, have a great day.